so where you at? Where you, so where you at?
Good afternoon and welcome to Jabari's Martial Arts Academy. We're live here at the studio in Sterling Heights, Michigan. Again, this is another segment of Just Kicking It. And of course, our great producer is here. DWalls is here. This is the man behind everything that happens. I'm just your host. My name is Olu Jabari of Jabari's Martial Arts Academy. We have some great guests in the studio with us today. Again, reach out to us at 313-629-8524. Leave me an email at justkickdem@gmail.com and or hit us up on Facebook. Send us a message there. Get back to us. If you're interested in being on the show, we're interviewing 50 best martial artists of Michigan, and you could be one of those to watch yourself on YouTube and hopefully on Channel 62 and Channel 7 in the future. So again, Just Kicking It came out of a program from Jabari's Martial Arts about 20 years ago. We were sitting around talking about, we need a slogan. And one of my parents was like, just kick it. And I was like, how about just kicking it, right? So that came out, and that's how this came about. So we are in the studio live with two great people. This is a husband and wife duo team. You know, we don't see a lot of that in sports karate, not like we should, but today we're going to break the mold a little bit. I'm going to allow them to introduce themselves, but just so you know, these shows are recorded live at Jabari's Martial Arts Academy, and we're open basically Mondays and Wednesdays, Saturdays, and we do some special trainings for those who really want to be part of the sports karate team. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to our guests, let them introduce themselves, tell you who they are, and give us a little bit about how you guys started in the martial arts, where you started, how it's helped out in your family, and how things, or shall I say, how God has allowed you to do what you do through the art. So I'm going to start over to my left and let this young man and his beautiful wife introduce themselves.
Hello, my name is Zuzzana Henderson. I've been training martial arts for about a little over 20 years now. And I started off with a martial art called Choi Kwan Do, and I've tried a few different styles, and now I'm more than ecstatic to be sticking it out with Master Olu Jabari for I think about 7 years now.
Yeah.
It's been wonderful. And martial arts has been a priceless addition to my life. I am beyond blessed to have this in my life. Just even the ability to know how to interact with people and see the children and students, learn through us and grow with us. It's just a very heartwarming experience. Every single day I get to come to the studio.
We love it. We love it. And so we know we have your spouse here. We're going to let him introduce himself. A lot of folks say duos are very important. We think they are. We think it brings and keeps family together. You know, at our studio, we have our second slogan. It's a family that's kicking it together, stays together. Of course, God is in the mix. So now you can introduce yourself, sir.
Thank you, sir. So my name is Mwalimu Trevor Henderson, which means instructor in Swahili. And I have been training only with Master Jabari here at JMAA. I haven't trained any other styles, so since the beginning for about 6 years now.
Yes, sir.
Roughly 6 years. It's been a fantastic 6 years. So I started as already an adult. I didn't start as a younger individual like a lot of people. And definitely something I never would have imagined myself doing, but I have fallen in love with it so much. It's just really gone through every part of my life. From sun up to sundown, I'm thinking about martial arts pretty much nowadays. So it's really been something that I've fallen in love with, that again, growing up, I never would have imagined, but here I am, thanks to my wonderful wife encouraging me to get started into martial arts, even though I told her relentlessly, I'm not going to be any good. It's just going to be embarrassing. And yeah, here we are. And we even get to do team katas together and things like that. And it has been so fulfilling. It's just, it's amazing. It's truly a love and a passion.
I love it. So we go back a little bit and talk about not only your experiences, but your experiences you had with training young people, adults and older adults. Grandmaster Larry Green, whom will be doing an interview with us, is a Grandmaster. He's like number 7 in the total United States, in Japan as well as Korea, whatever. He does so much. And he's been one of the also people that has trained you guys through our school. He is one of our partners. He is one of the highly recommended trainers for those who are wanting to do sports karate and get involved in the Olympics or whatnot. Let me go back to family time, Zuzzana and Trevor. If you can, we can't do anything without our parents. And we always make sure we highlight our parents. Zuzzana, we were talking about the struggles of young people, young adults, and some older adults who don't understand what it is. So I know that you and your family have come through a period of time that I know I came through, and probably Trevor as well, where we have to look at those times and look at where it's brought us, right? Had you not had those experiences. Can you talk about your parents and how they're doing? I know they're getting ready to do some traveling, which I want to go. I'm kind of jealous. But just the greatness of support you've gotten from your parents and the things that, you know, they went through so that you could be here today.
Yes, sir. My family is originally from Warsaw, Poland. My father fought against communism and the Solidarity movement, which led us to end up in the United States just because of it ended up being not safe for my family to be there anymore under the regime that was there. And to keep it short, because I could go on and on about all the things that they experienced up until today, but they have gone through so many obstacles coming into a country with only $20 and 2 young children. My sisters were only 8 years old, and I think about 2-3 years old. And not knowing a single person here in the U.S., not knowing the language, and getting through all these obstacles that were put in their way to be able to move into a nicer neighborhood and support all 3 of their daughters and give us a very loving environment. I can't speak highly enough of my family. All 4 of them, my parents and sisters, are warriors. They're heroes in my book. They've taught me to always put God first in everything I do, to have faith in God, and also keep family at the forefront. Yeah. Because without God and without our family, we have nothing. And because of all the things we've gone through, we've learned to really stick through with each other no matter what. Even if we argued, even if we don't see eye to eye, it doesn't matter. We always have to leave while saying, I love you, be careful, I'll talk to you soon. And so I try to keep that in my mind with everything I do. I try to bring that type of mentality here. And that's why I love being here at JMAA, because immediately I felt that as soon as I met you, sir, I felt the same ideals, the same morals being implemented in this studio. Being able to treat our students and our classmates as family members is something that is very important to me. And thanks to my family, I'm able to keep that in my instruction and my teaching as well as my training.
And I think that's important. I know I had a chance to meet your mom, and she's a sweetheart. Not only is she a sweetheart, she's very talented.
Yes, sir.
Your mom does these great wreaths that are handmade that you can't get online, by the way. And I'm throwing a plug because she does them unconsciously. I mean, I looked at some of the stuff. I'm like, how much time does this take you to make this? And she just smiles and says, no problem. Just tell me what you want, right? And that's great. Then I met your father, who came in and looked around the school, and he said, kind of whatever you want me to do, just let me know, right? He doesn't talk a lot, but he smiles a whole lot. And I think he loves being at this place, and we're glad to have you and your family. I had a chance to meet your sister too, so that's another great thing. Trevor, we're going to switch boom,
sir.
boom, boom. Because without the queen, there can't be a king. And we don't put anything above one another. We bring people together, and that's what you've done. You brought yourself together to make one. There's no head, but there's a circle. A circle continues. So, tell us a little about your life, your history here. What you've done and what brings you here outside of your wife, as you mentioned.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, growing up, born and raised, right here in the suburbs of Metro Detroit area.
Okay.
Not too much moving around or things like that. But when I was younger, one of the things that happened was my mother was diagnosed with cancer, went through chemo, and then during that time, in order to make ends meet, my dad had to take a job in Pennsylvania. And so he was gone for a little bit, and me and my sister, being 5 and 6 years old, had to take care of my mom going through chemo. And so that was a lot, being a young child, having to take care of the house, take care of everything, making sure you're getting to and from school and such. Makes you grow up real fast. Because that was a battle that went on for a couple of years, just kind of back and forth and hospital visits and things like that. So I learned a lot, but one of the things that my parents really instilled in me at that point is there's nothing you can't do. You can do anything you put your mind to. And my mom told us, she's like, I'm putting my mind to beating this. And she's like, and so I will. And so there was a lot of learning at that point of tough, get through it, that's what you have to do in life. And so all through life, whether it was going through schooling and then college and things like that, it was, one thing that really encouraged me was when people were like, oh, this is really hard.
Yeah.
Or I don't know if you're going to be able to do this. That gave me so much fire in my belly to just be like, okay, I'm going to go out of my way to make that happen then. I'm going to do that. And what I found with martial arts, which was interesting, is later in life, I had a few foot surgeries and things like that through high school just for some medical reasons. So I have a screw and a plate in my foot. And I was like, I was the person telling myself that I wouldn't be able to do something. And then when I realized that I was the person telling myself that I couldn't do something, I couldn't, and I wouldn't, that gave me the fire that I needed to be like, you know what? I'm going to make that happen. Because that's what my parents taught me ever since a very young age. If you want something, you can do it. Whatever you put your mind to, you can tough through, my mother did end up beating cancer. She's in full remission and everything like that, and living her best life. And when she was done, she actually went from just working, she went back to college at 35 years old. Again, everyone told her, you can't do that.
Right.
Nowadays it's more accepted, but 15, 20 years ago, they were like, no, you're an adult. You have kids. You can't go back to college now. She went back to college, got her nursing degree.
Wow.
Changed careers, went into the nursing field, and she's now a nurse now. And so all through that, again, when I was at my young teenage years at that point, she was doing schooling and working full time and had 2 kids.
Wow.
And so again, my parents just teaching me, well, if you want something, you have to work for it.
For sure.
You get it done, no matter what it takes. And so all of that, really led me into martial arts, where it was truly a fulfillment of that. Because in martial arts, you have people that have talent and you have people that work really hard. And what's the phrase?
Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard.
Exactly. And so, I realized that I at the beginning, I was telling myself, I don't have the talent in this, so I won't make it, or I won't, win, or things like that. But then I realized, I'm like, but it's really more about the hard work.
Yes.
And, this whole time I had been thinking for a long time, watching my wonderful, talented, and hardworking wife, I was like, oh, well, I just, I didn't start when I was young, so I don't have that talent, or things like that. But then I realized, I'm like, but I can, if I want it, I can put the hard work into it. It's going to take a little bit more.
Sure.
And I'm going to have to learn a whole lot about my body and how to move and how to push mentally. But I know that I can do it. If I have the mental strength, I know my body will catch up. So, kind of seeing how all those life lessons pulling together, and now being able to work with the students as well, and kind of telling them, no, I know you feel tired, but a lot of that's in your head. You know, you got to realize that you are your own worst enemy.
For sure.
And but you can also be your greatest supporter as well. You have to flip that mindset.
Yeah, and I think that's where the karate sauce comes in. Now we to that stage where everything your wife, Zuzzana, and you just said goes back to martial arts in regards to having an I can attitude, right?
Exactly.
Because, you know, for your mom to go through that, and then for Susanna's mom to go through what they went through, her and her father, if the mindset is right and you said it, there is nothing you cannot do.
Exactly.
And that's what martial arts is about. It's about adaptability. It's about conformity. It's about understanding. When people tell you no, you just flip that. For everything that's negative, there's a positive, right?
Yes, sir.
And it's how we look at things, right? I always tell folks, you have a choice. At your home, when you get up, there's that invisible button on your dresser. Before you get up, you know, my thing is I say a short prayer, you know, since this day is here to stay, let all things go God's way, right? And then I think, because my mom is no longer here, right? So I think, you know, my grandmothers, the two. I think my grandfather. I think my mom. I think the elders, and I think the ancestors, right? 2 moms, by the way. And then I let my feet touch the floor. And I make a choice on that button. It's going to be a super fantastic day, or I want today to be like, let people get on my nerves today. They better not say nothing to me at work, right?
Yes, sir.
But here at Jabari's Martial Arts, we understand when folks walk in that door, as every parent has told us, they just feel something different when they walk in here. They feel something different when you're talking to them, when you're teaching them. So when I say the karate sauce is like, my best uniform is my karate uniform, not the suit and tie that we wear every day, not the nice gym shoes and all that stuff that I love, by the way. But it's the karate uniform because it gets more than attention.
Yes, sir.
You've had a chance to teach hundreds of students, probably thousands have watched you and your wife perform. Let's get into that part. Zuzzana, yourself and Trevor have stood next to some of the best in the world. And you're considered to be among the best in the world, both of you. So tell me, just give me an aspect of how that felt the first time you got a chance to stand against the best in the world, knowing that, wow, I'm considered one of the best. I'm going up against this person who's been doing this 15 years, and now I get a chance to stand next to her and compete against her or him. So give us that feeling about that, because we know both of you are considered to be two of the best in the world. So how does that feel?
Oh, it's so exciting. It's humbling, but inspiring at the same time. I remember my first year getting into WKC Nationals and Worlds. You called me and suggested that I try out for it. I'm like, I'm not good enough for that yet. I still need to practice. I need at least another year. And then luckily you and Grandmaster Larry Green started working with me even more, and I was able to achieve that goal that I've had for most of my life now. So it's one of the best feelings in the world.
Yeah, and I know you've not done it once, but a couple of times,
Yes,
right?
sir.
We'll get back to that as you cross the seas in these airplanes, flying across the world, something we never thought we would do. But again, that's that I can attitude. Let's talk about you, Trevor. You had a chance to be standing next to some of the best in the world, and I was considered one of the best in the world. When you stand on that world stage, you know, everybody's watching. Everybody wants to be like Zuzzana or Trevor or whomever you're going against. Everybody is saying, man, I can't wait to get there, right? I know it makes you work harder, right?
It seriously does. And, you know, one of the things, again, that I was realizing that I was kind of almost a little freaked out about it, excited but nervous at the same time, as I was like, you know, all these other people have been training since they were kids.
Yeah.
I've been training a quarter of the amount of time they have, and I'm going to go against them. It just makes you work that much harder. And I go, okay, well, I got to put 15 years of training into 1 year. You know, so I'm like, okay, well, I have to do that work that's equivalent to that. No, you really can't do the work that they put into it, but you have to just tell yourself that you're able to go up head to head with these people. And, you know, it was amazing. This past year, I got second place at Nationals. Against the fact that I got second place, I was thrilled with, but who got first has been competing on the stage longer than I've been alive. So I was like, the fact that I get to stand on the podium right next to him is absolutely fantastic. Just a legendary martial artist who got first place. And I was like, that's fine. I'm okay with that, because the fact that I got second, I'm like, I am beyond thrilled with that. And then I've even been competing recently against an individual who's, if karate makes it back to the Olympics, he's going to be representing. I mean, he's going to be going to the Olympics. To be even be on the mat with him and competing against him and getting his respect is just, I'm floored. You know, it's fantastic. So really just, it pushes you to work that much harder. Not to beat them, but to become like them and to become your own individual as well, to become a more well-developed martial artist and make a name for yourself as well. And slowly seeing some of those people, like you were mentioning, look now, other people looking at us and being like, you know, when I watch my wife compete, all these other people are like, wow.
Right.
That girl was so good. I was like, that's my wife, you know, and they're like, oh, wow. Well, your wife, that was such a sharp kata. That was such a clean kata. Or, wow, you know, she's advanced so fast, you know, and since she's been under the tutelage of Master Jabari and Grandmaster Larry Green, she has advanced so much. And myself as well.
Absolutely.
Under their training and their guidance. And so being able to see that, but then also them come to me and be like, all of a sudden they're like, hey, what's your name? Like, I want to get to know you. And now I'm realizing that it's like full circle. You know, the people that I used to look up to, all these other people, and I want to know them. And now I have other people looking at me being like, hey, what's your secret? I'm like, what do you mean, what's my secret? No, what's their secret?
Right.
You know, you know, but now they're looking at me, and it's just really cool to see that progression over the course of just a few years as well.
Yeah,
really has. I mean, just a few years ago, I was a color belt and had a long way to go.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way. All right. So let's say it how it is, you know. And now I'm placing in these black belt divisions and things like that. It's really exciting.
Yeah.
Fulfilling, because you put a lot of work in.
You do.
A lot of work.
I mean, what you get out, you can't trade for anything.
Exactly.
And we wouldn't trade it for anything. There's no amount of money that can give us what God has blessed us with, right?
Yes, sir.
And that is why we give it back out. But we've had a chance. I know when I first started some years ago, not to say how young I am, because the producer remembers me when he was coming to the center when I was teaching it, and I was like, "What?" He was like, "Yeah, I remember you." And then we just hugged and was like, "What?" So that goes to show you how young I am and how young he is too, right? He's a great guy. But I'm saying that to say that we've had a chance to go to Quebec and then the martial arts, Germany, and then you guys jumped in, and then you did Florida.
Yes,
you did where else?
Ireland. And Florida again, and
then
hopefully Portugal.
And now
this year.
Portugal is coming up, right?
Yes, sir.
Wow. And not only are you looking at going to Portugal, you're also training other team members from JMAA, because you guys are in charge of the team as well as running the school for the most part, you and your wife. You got some really good people coming up.
Yes, sir.
Right? So you got some, you know, some little ones, and you got some, you know, talk about how that makes you feel to see them coming up behind you, having an opportunity to do some of the things that you're doing. You got, I know Charles, Eric, who was with us under our tutelage. We had his first year there. But now you got some more people coming behind you. Can talk about how that feels to train them.
Oh my gosh, I think we get more excited about that now than our own placements at these competitions, especially last year going to Florida and having our students like Charles and Eric and Brenda come up and compete right with us. We were so excited. We were like, we don't care, you know, what happens. We got to make sure we go to Florida and be there with our students. It was so exciting. And to see them now not only continue with their second year, but also guide the other students, our newer students like Jack, Julian, Justin, and Millie, and bring them along with them. It's just so heartwarming to see that. And it just almost brings tears to my eyes when I think about it, because I've seen their growth.
Wow.
And not only the punching and kicking, but also that maturity level, that respect that they give to the other students, that inspiration that they're giving to the other students. It's priceless. It's amazing.
Awesome.
Yeah, it really is. And again, I never would have expected it. I'd heard a lot about it, being like, oh, being an instructor is so fulfilling and such. But I my whole life, I haven't really been a teacher, more into the books and things like that,
Right.
being taught. But all of a sudden with martial arts, seeing those light bulb moments with the students where they figure something out, it's so fulfilling. Oh my goodness. Like, it's so satisfying. You're just like, you're getting to watch someone else go through the process of discovery that you got to enjoy as well. So it's like you get to go through it again each and every time that they win, you're winning.
Yeah.
And it's not about, it's not about the placement to win. You don't have to get first to win, but it's the having those breakthroughs. That's the victory. Being able to see these students go through that, oh man, it's life changing.
Yeah.
And I never would have expected it, which is the funniest thing. It's like, if you would have told me 10 years ago that I'd be sitting here talking about teaching students and things like that, I would have been like, oh, my wife does that. I record, and
Support.
Right. That's all I do. But, being up there and teaching as well is so surprisingly satisfying.
Yeah, and I
really
think
is.
I think that's the most important part about the martial arts, and that's why we're doing these podcasts, so folks can hear the stories of these 50 martial artists all over the world that came through Michigan. Michigan is known for its sports. Downtown Detroit, you got your Tigers, your Lions, and all types of stuff going on down there. But it's the martial arts sector. Sports karate has turned the channel and it's gravitated towards everyone. It's one of the only sports where you don't ride the bench. Everybody participates, right? Before we leave, just want to make sure folks know they can reach out to us direct at 313-629-8524. Also, send me an email at justkickdem@gmail.com. Hit me up on Facebook and send me a message if you want to be part of this podcasting that's going to shock the world in regards to next year, hopefully, when we get it on the news and things like that. But let's end on a good note. Your first time going to the Worlds. I remember my first time going to the Worlds, having your flag with you and coming out and how people see you. What was that feeling like when they said Team USA?
Well, for me, my first time, I think I'll remember this forever. I was very sick. I was going through a sinus infection, and for some reason I was sick during every tournament that year. But when you are in that room with all these other people who have had so many different journeys, but yet we're all wearing those colors, the Team USA colors, and we're all chanting together. It's so uplifting and so exciting. It's a feeling I've never had before, and getting to know all these people from all over the country and then all over the world. It's so addictive too, and I think that's part of the reason why I want our other students to start joining us and more and more. Like we have Teresa this year and Gabby also joining us, and I just want to bring everybody with me, all of them, up to even the white belts if we could have. So yes, I love it. It's addicting, and I think I'll remember that forever.
Excellent. Trevor, how'd that make you feel?
I'll be honest, I almost passed out a bunch because it was just so overwhelmingly exciting and fun and surreal, to be honest with you. Whether it was the opening ceremonies when you're chanting USA and almost losing your voice on the first night, you haven't even competed yet. And the next day you're like, well, my throat's already sore from all the yelling we did yesterday, and now I have to compete. But then getting ready to compete, and all of a sudden everything hitting you all at once. And you do your intro to your kata, and all of a sudden you start seeing stars. Yeah. And you're like, okay, well, but you push and you go through and you get it done. And it's just those, a little bit of nerves, it's exciting and a little nerve-wracking and everything. But then at the end of the week, when you get to, even if you're if you're able to get on the podium with your flag around your shoulders, that was so amazing. And with that U.S. flag just wrapped around your shoulders, you don't even know what to do. You're just smiling, constantly walking around. You're just all smiling because you're just like, oh my goodness, like this is crazy. And then even when it's just your teammates going up there, you're just so excited for them. You're just with so much pride for them. And that you tell yourself, you're like, I'm going to be there next year. Yeah. I'm going to make that happen next year. And so surreal is the best word to use for it.
Yeah, it's good. And it's good to be part. When one win, we all win, whether it's you, your wife, or the children we're bringing up, or the children they bring up. But it's good to also know that we've done this multiple times.
Yes, sir.
We're not strangers at this. This goes back almost 10 years or more. And the other great part is people don't really understand the feeling of when you say USA. Some folks from around the world, when they get off the plane, I see why they kiss the ground. I understand the significance of how that feels. Like I say, our first year going some ton years back, these folks wanted our gym shoes, our hats, our uniforms. Can I have that, please? It says USA on it. Can I have that? Can you sign this? It goes to show how much we really take for granted that God has blessed us with every day, right?
Yes, sir.
So I'm saying that to say that martial arts is a way of life. It's a family sport. It's conducive to anything you believe you want to achieve. If you think martial arts, think of breaking boards when you started. Then you went on to breaking bricks, and then multiple bricks, right? And those are, like you said, Master Goss, breakthroughs for our children, right? They don't understand it until they start seeing where it's taking them, and then their parents start talking to them about it, right? And then the kids start picking up like, wow, every black belt we've had has had a breakthrough at some point, or a breakdown, and which was good. That took them far. So I think that with Just Kicking It, that's our goal, is to have people like yourselves come on, not only husband and wife, but teachers, friends, and family, to tell your story. Nobody tells our story better than us. And as we leave this planet, no one else will tell, no one else will know, right? Yes, so as we end, I always say that there's one thing, you have this brain that God has blessed you with, right? No one can take it from you, but you can't take it with you.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
That's good.
Something to think about. But as we move forward, as Just Kicking It, we want folks to know that they can come visit you.
Yes, sir.
Some folks want to be like you. How can they reach out? They just want to reach out to you guys and be like, hey, I want to go talk to you guys, see if I can you give me some words of wisdom about if I go to Portugal, what I need to be doing, first timers? How can they reach out to both of you?
Well, they can definitely stop by here. We almost live here because we're here
true.
so often. And we're on Facebook as well. We're always available. We're always happy to help anyone who would like any advice or even some assistance in their journey.
Excellent. Trevor, anything you want to end with?
Just meet us at a tournament, and we're always down to give pointers and help out. And we all work together. That's one nice thing about martial arts is we might be competing, but really against ourselves. It's really not about competing against one another. And so we're always down to help everybody in their own journey.
Love it. So we're going to end the segment and just say, it's always Just Kicking It. That's what we do here, and that's what we push and preach. Again, reach out to 313-629-8524. Hit us up on Facebook or send us a personal email at justkickthem@gmail.com. Guaranteed to get back to you within 24 to 48 hours to be on the show. Again, I'm Olu Jabari from Jabari's Martial Arts Academy here in Sterling Heights. Thank you for your time.
Where you